You know
right,
that
so
he got a cushion for his seat today. So when he had got the grandpa discount at the wheelchair store, and they put a cushion for his seat that he sits on. Yeah, you did.
No, I did do that, but that's not the
Okay.
reason why.
Well,
Okay.
He showed his AARP card.
I had to sign up for social. You guys can make fun. You can make.
no, you started it.
No, I didn't start it. I just said this table is a good size for you. That wasn't making fun of your age. It was making fun of your height. Now, if you want to make fun of my weight, that's fair game. Now, Ron, do we have any calls?
Well, you know what? You can say what you want about Frank, but Frank's never had a broken dinghy, and that's something I think.
Well, he has not, and he was a great athlete. And he and Brian have, big. We had a mediator here. Him and Brian and Jimmy. We had a mediator here the other day. He goes, I feel like I should be lifting weights. He goes, look at Jimmy, Frank, and Brian. And he said this to me, and I go, well, I guess I don't intimidate you, right?
No, I mean, you're. What do they call you in the office? Don't you guys? What's his nickname down there? Husky? Isn't that
no Papa?
Papa, Grandpa, old man. I had a client actually text me and go, can I have one of the young lawyers' names, one of your young guns? And I said, what is it? Oh, it's just a case. It's not important enough for you to handle, and you're too old. That's what the client actually said to me. I'm too old.
I think she just said you're too old.
She did say that.
Yeah.
I think you might have a discrimination case against her.
I don't care.
Age discrimination.
You're like fine wine, Beatrice.
No, I'm like cappuccino. I'm an acquired taste. I've learned this in life. People either love me or they love to hate me. There's no in between. All right, Ron, do we have any calls? That's enough of the small chit chat now.
Yes, we do have some calls, and that's what we do here on the Legal Show, brought to you by Beatrice Kopp, and you're on the air. Hello.
What's the definition?
You're on the air. Hello.
Ron, there's number one. Wait. We're going to keep a running total this week.
We had 3 last week.
We had 3.
You're
Ron,
on the air.
This guy through 3 times.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, caller.
Inheritance.
What's your question, caller, please?
Yes, I had a question about an inheritance.
Okay.
What is it?
Father had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
He had a will, but not beneficiaries. Named his children, he being a grandson. Code said the other day that he's going through the process. It's something about get informed who gets what, not getting anything.
You're not. Are you understanding, Dave? I'm not getting. What is your specific question, caller? Ask a question.
Well, let me see if I can nail it down a little bit for him. Was it your father that died?
Yes or no? Caller.
Okay. Well,
no.
It was not your father. I need you to pay attention and answer the attorney's
question. Are you a
question
beneficiary of this will?
Yes or no? I don't understand why we have a problem with this guy's connection.
Let's go to the next call.
Right. You got to call back, sir. This isn't working. You're on the air.
How you doing, Ron? It's Daryl Orlando, Dave. Good. I got a very serious question to ask you. I have a court hearing in the morning tomorrow at 10 o'clock. It's been 4 months waiting for Judge Adler. I have a case against Trumbull Metropolitan Housing Authority. I'm suing them for not cleaning the furnace ducts. Judge Adler gave them 120 days to resolve the matter, and they have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. They will not. Their attorney has not called me back. Their managers have not called me back. They stonewalled me.
All right, caller, listen. Dave's speaking now. Listen to what he's telling you.
What kind of an action did you file in front of Judge Adler?
I'm just suing them for damages right now.
What type of damages? What damages do you have?
I have breathing problems. I have COPD. I have asked them to clean this for the last 3 years. And now my COPD, my breathing.
Caller.
Listen.
Bueller.
Listen. Go ahead.
In Girard Court, you're limited on what you could seek as far as damages.
If he's in small claims, yeah. What is it? 8,000 now? 12,000? 6? I don't know.
And it sounds like
they moved it up to higher court,
Even
not
Florida.
small claims.
up to 15 in
Municipal court.
Okay.
municipal court.
No, but small claims.
Is that what he's in?
The guy said they
He's-
moved it up from small claims.
well, all right.
Wait a minute. Are
so-
you in common pleas court?
No, he could be a municipal.
You're in municipal court. So I think their limit's 25,000.
No,
Yeah. 50?
15.
I think it's
Question
25.
I have is, can I ask the judge to move it to a federal court?
No, that's not how that works. That's not how it works. And I got a little bit of a news flash for you. You ready, caller? You have what's called the burden of proof. So do you have your doctors to come in and testify to say because that the air ducts weren't clean, that is a direct and proximate result of injury to you?
Yes, I have a doctor's report that's been.
No, the doctor's report is what they call hearsay. Do you have a live person coming in to tell the judge, based upon a reasonable degree of medical certainty, you got injured as a result of them not cleaning their air ducts?
15,000.
What I did was I take the dust and
I
I
hate
put
you,
it in
Ryan.
baggies. I paid a recording of me cleaning the dust off the furnace, like off my TV stand, and how it's like a black dust in the air. It coats the whole apartment.
Okay.
I haven't been able to turn on the furnace. It's, of course, with the summertime, I don't need it now, but it's still,
I
for
understand.
3 years now, I have the filters.
All right,
Jimmy, maybe you would like to explain a burden of proof in a civil case, and you don't want to do that?
Yeah, he's the most he can get is 15,000. Number one, small claims is 6,000, but it doesn't sound like you really should
Is your
seek
trial
counsel.
tomorrow?
So the hearing is set for me to win for a judge to order it to go to trial.
Okay, so it's a pre-trial, right?
Yes,
Right. So, and they have a lawyer representing them, correct?
they do. And I couldn't get anybody. I couldn't get legal aid to help me. But I do study a little bit of law. I was a shop steward against when I worked for Time Warner.
Okay, so
I have a
so
little bit of knowledge
you would
of
have
the
learned
law.
that you have what's called a burden of proof. So if you make an allegation in court,
I have all that.
well, you have it in hearsay form. Okay, and
I'm a
so
witness too. My next door neighbor's coming down to testify.
okay, so let's assume you could prove there's dust coming out of the furnace, right? You could prove
I
that.
can.
Okay. How are you damaged by that?
I have COPD stage 2. It was well in control, but for the last 3 years, since I've lived here 6 years, the first 3 years they took care of everything, but I've been complaining to them for 3 years until I had to file a court case against them because I just couldn't breathe anymore. I can't move around, Dave. It's hard for me to even walk
I
to
sense
my
your
truck.
I sense your frustration. I just don't want you to be more frustrated because you have the burden of proving what you're saying is more likely than not. And I don't think you've set the case up for that to happen.
Well, all I can do is take pictures. I've sent pictures to Judge Adler 2 months ago of the furnace ducts.
Okay.
He has those pictures already.
Right.
Probably hasn't looked at them though.
No. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he could prove the furnace ducts are dusty.
Yeah, with the pictures, but and you could authenticate those pictures if you took them. However, if you send something to a judge, the judge is not going to open it.
Yeah, but
He's not going to look at it.
There's a bigger issue.
He's an expert.
He can't prove damages. He needs
Jimmy,
his-
I'm
he needs his-
inviting you to come into the conversation, and you keep shaking your head no.
Caller,
So
you
would
need
you
your
please?
you need your doctor to come in and testify live at the trial, and to a reasonable
Okay.
degree of medical certainty.
It's impossible.
This has
I can't
aggregate-
get him to come in by tomorrow morning.
Well, it's
Well, it's a
only
pretrial.
pre-trial.
When it's set for trial, your doctor needs to come in and testify live.
And you'd have to pay him for his time. They just don't come in there for free.
Well, you would also need somebody to establish that the dust coming from the HVAC.
Well, the
is-
doctor can
he-
render that
yeah.
opinion. Whether it's going to be believed or not is another question. Because
That the dust aggravated his pre-existing condition.
yeah, but the point is, COPD is a progressive kind of a thing.
Right.
Okay, so that doctor is going to get chewed up on cross-examination. I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But you have to prove it. You can't just go into court and say, ducks bad, COPD bad, me get money. It doesn't work like that. You have to have this little piece of...
What I've been asking them to move me, Dave, and what I would ask you guys is if I do win tomorrow, would you
You're not
guys
gonna win.
take the case on?
You can't win at a pretrial.
You don't,
There's no winning.
unless they settle with you. And the most you can win in the jurisdiction in which you are, and Frank was correct, is $15,000. It's the county courts that have 25.
I
Right?
understand that.
Or could they show up, Dave, in a
excess of
pretrial and say, "Hey,
And then federal court is-
we'll clean the ductwork, and that'll be the end of it." Think
Yeah.
about it. All right, Guy. Good luck.
Good luck.
Basically,
I tell people
basically
this
you're
all the
saying
time. If to win a case in front of a jury, you have to have this stuff called evidence. Evidence is just evidence. It's factual stuff you bring in and you put it on the witness stand, and then the jury examines and determines the credibility of whatever that evidence is. And if that evidence proves what you're saying, then you win. And if the jury doesn't believe that evidence, then you lose. I don't mean to make it sound that simple, but boiled down to its least common denominator, Jimmy. You can chime in anytime you want, Jimmy. You're allowed to talk on here.
I think you're doing a great job right now.
Well, I understand that, but I don't want to do all the talking because my voice and I have a headache. Okay. And
trust me, the more you're going, you're giving me one.
Good one, Ron.
oh, really?
Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you. Yeah,
We
yeah,
need we
you
need
know
a
what I mean?
light
It was-
comic. You know,
Oh, that's good. Do we have any other calls, Ron?
Excuse me, I have a terrible headache now, Dave. News Radio 570 WKBN, you're on the air. Do you have a question?
I got a guy that
Yeah.
wants to play the radio 24 hours a day. Is there anything we could do about it?
Where's he want to play it? Huh? Where's he want to play it?
He's playing next door. He's playing it past 11 o'clock at night and everything.
All right.
Morning,
So
noon,
you
night.
live in an apartment complex, right?
No, I live in Niles. I live in a house, and he's playing it in a pole barn outside.
call the police, and it has to be under a certain amount of dBs.
Yeah, there might be an ordinance.
Yeah.
There is an ordinance,
There has to be
and there's a time that it has
It's
to be
very
done.
hard to tell how loud it is. I don't have a decibel number.
Okay.
The
but-
police
but-
do.
Police.
but
And,
have you?
I've did a million times. They turn it off. Next day, turns it right back on. Sometimes after he leaves,
Yeah.
he turns it right back on.
Well, you.
What's he blasting it?
Sorry, go ahead, David.
No, go ahead.
Huh?
I
Is he
would
blasting it.
Sometimes, yes, at different levels. Different levels.
All right, this is a key question for all the attorneys. What type of music is he playing?
He plays country, Y103,
Oh, my God.
95.
Yeah, you've got to
And,
put a stay. You
That is
around.
torture.
You got to stop that. You got to stop that. That would be very annoying. Yeah.
Technically, he's
It is,
committing a
and I've
nuisance.
tried a million times. I've called the cops. They turn it off.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
We heard it. Dave, go ahead.
You probably have a claim for nuisance, which is a tort. And if someone is doing something that causes you a nuisance, you can sue not only for damages, but you can ask the court to invoke its equitable powers and to order them not to create a nuisance.
What I would do is, if you want to do that, if that's your objective, use your phone, walk out, get a recording, record it so that you could play it for the judge if you want to bring a civil case. If you want the police to stop him, and the next time you call them, you could tell them, I've had you out multiple times. He turns it off and then turns it back on. Would you please document this with the police report?
Do you live in the city of Niles, sir?
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes the police say it's not that loud, though, even though I'm 100 feet away and I can still hear it.
Okay. And do you have a council
So
person?
if I'm 100 feet away, it's got to be what, 100 decibels,
All right,
maybe?
listen, call your council person.
Oh, it's
Radio
break
570
time.
WKBN. Yes.
All right. We had loud
Hallelujah.
calls.
We'll come
Hallelujah.
back. All right, with more.
All right. So we're still on TikTok Live,
Radio
Frank. You
Music
want
Festival
to tease me
presented
some
by
more?
Capital One.
You want to throw something at me?
Vegas,
Frank
September
may have
20th.
flown.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
A weekend full of superstar
Rhymes
performances.
with
Tickets are on
skirt.
sale now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com.
Okay,
The Hartford Small Business Insurance knows opening a small business is
All
a
right,
great
we're live. Hello,
achievement. They offer
Facebook and
custom insurance
YouTube.
solutions to fit
And
your
this then
needs. Get a
goes
quote and find why over
TikTokers.
1 million small business owners trust them
Unfortunately,
at
you can't hear the callers, but they're kind of
thehartford.com/smallbusiness.
entertaining at times. So this goes to Spotify.
With the new
It goes
beneficial
to
ownership
Apple
reporting requirements?
Podcasts.
Sort of.
We have a
What's it
YouTube
about?
channel.
It's a new initiative to
Facebook,
help fight crimes like
and we're on
money
Instagram
laundering,
Live,
fraud,
right?
and drug trafficking. A lot of small businesses like ours just have to report some basic info to the federal government about the
And I'm
real
gonna.
people
And you want to
behind
know
them.
why?
Reporting your company's beneficial ownership information is quick, secure, and free.
he just
And it helps protect U.S. national security. Learn
The
more at
reason is
visa.gov.
Leo has the inability to get it.
Your
Now,
chance to win $1,000.
every other TikToker,
Keyword on our
every
website.
other TikToker, they don't even have.
Enter it now.
We have a producer. He can't get.
WKBN.com.
I can't do it.
News
I don't know how
Radio
to do it.
570. WKBN.
No, I mean I see people.
It's time. Time to stay informed. The time to act. Stay connected. Check in 3, 4. The clock is ticking 5 times
Time is now up.
a day.
On 570 WKBN.
Hey, I have another suggestion. Me just thinking out loud. Can we put a set of headphones on the back of where the sound is on that?
But then it
How
wouldn't
about
be.
that
It
one?
wouldn't be even. You would.
I mean,
Well, you can pick it up.
you
but
can
I
make it
don't
even
know.
because you
Put
could
one of those
adjust the
mics,
volume.
like the
No, I don't need the mic there.
No, I'm
You
saying
know,
use
it's
the
cool.
headphones
You
so
need the-
here
you need
and
the
put this
audio.
here
This is
the
what-
audio.
And this is what we should
hole.
do with the podcast.
What? Show Brian. Why are you showing me? Do you think I have authority?
So see how they do these microphones?
Yeah.
Like this?
I
and,
like.
and it was cool. So there was a round table and the chairs were around. And
Right.
the table was about it was probably about this
And
high
and we
off
get
the top.
stands and
Yeah,
stuff.
and you get
I
stands.
understand
Like,
that.
sit around with
This
lounge table.
this
That's it
this
was- yeah,
is
they have
this
like-
is.
they have like
I have a
separate-
word. I have a word for what you've created here. It's called janky.
I didn't do it.
Yeah,
You did
you're the
this.
producer.
Yeah. Did I buy that table? That's
You're the producer.
Did I buy the table?
Do we have our business cards yet?
Our next update at
Was
6.
there another change
570
made on it? I wanna
WKBN
know.
Youngstown, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics.
This is Super Bowl champion Alfred Williams. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Staples Stores.
The Guardians came up with only 4 hits. They struck out 10
So what
times.
does that
And they
mean now? I
settled for a
can ask
split of
them
their
to write a
series
motion
against
for me?
Detroit today. They'll be in Philly tomorrow night. Browns cornerback Greg Newsome underwent hamstring surgery today, while defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson had a knee scope. And a star-studded Olympic opening ceremony set to go tomorrow in Paris with Lady
Will it
Gaga, Celine
transcribe it or
Dion, and
no?
Ariana Grande set to perform.
Okay,
I'm
so
Scott Davidson.
With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school, including tech. Right now, get up to $500 off select PCs at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. For participating stores, visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
I think I sent something
Now,
to you and
Ron
Brian
Verb.
today, too.
On News Radio 570
No, I sent a-
WKBN.
they have-
It's 5:32
No, I
on
sent
News
one
Radio
today.
570
There's a
WKBN
virtual-
on a
they
Thursday.
have virtual
And
assistants
we're at the
now.
midway points
Have
of
will
our
write
legal
briefs,
program, done every Thursday
settlement.
from 5 to
But you're
6, brought
saying,
to you by the law
Westlaw
firm
will
of
write
Beatrice
briefs
Kopp.
now.
You got any legal
But you gotta
questions
be
or
very
problems?
careful with
Do our
that.
best to answer them.
Because-
330-729-9977, 330-729-9977 will get you through to us on News Radio 570 WKBN. And, of course, we got all of our attorneys tonight joining us at the
Are we
firm
back on?
of Beatrice Kopp. A good night for attorney attendance. Attorney Dave Beatrice is with us. Mark DeVecchio's with us. Attorney Jim Melfi and Frank Cassis. They're all joining us here
The young
tonight,
guns
right?
are here. The rock stars here.
Yes.
And the old fat
Right.
pear-shaped person is here.
Right.
What?
You know,
I have a
and so we
pear-shaped body.
affectionately
What's wrong with that? I
yeah,
own it.
We
I don't know if I'd
Dave
advertise
reminds
that.
us.
What?
I don't know if I'd
Dave
advertise
reminds
that.
us of a Yeah, Dave reminds us of a strong dog. That's why we call him Husky, folks. It's not because of his weight or anything.
That's not that.
It's like a strong dog.
Did you ever go out to eat dinner with Frank, Jimmy, and Brian?
No.
You could probably call me the runt of that litter. Like, they eat everything.
Really?
And in copious amounts. And then they look at me and they go, why don't you eat? I said, I gained weight looking at you guys eating. Okay? That's how easy I put on weight.
Is it really?
It is.
Well, you lost a lot of weight, and you were exercising.
I know,
Weren't
and
you
I'm
avoiding
still-
carbs? You weren't eating spaghetti and all the food that you enjoyed?
I know. I love spaghetti. I love pasta.
So
you love
did you
it,
go
you're not
back
allowed
to
to
it?
have it. No, you're not.
Did-
I just you go have salad with grilled chicken on top of it. It's so delicious.
Oh, I bet that is good.
No.
Right.
And then Mark over here, for the people on TikTok, Mark has a band. It's called
The House Band.
House Band, and he's the lead singer. What a voice he has on him. And he's, how old are you?
He's 41.
I'm of an age of reason.
54?
Yes.
And he has a 32-inch waist. Frank is 38. Is your waist up? Is it over 28, Frank?
I don't know.
No, what? No.
I don't know.
No, yes, you do. You get suits made. Like when you go in, do you get to go to the, is it even 28 inches, Frank?
Yes.
Is it 29?
28, 29.
28-inch waist.
29.
Jimmy, we're going to let you go on this one, okay?
That's fine. Broad shoulders.
Yeah. All right, Ron, do we have any calls here?
Well, why did Jimmy get a pass on that? I don't understand.
Well, because Jimmy has a different body type than Frank and Mark. Jimmy's big boned. In my day, it was called being husky. Okay, but Jimmy's a kind of a bigger guy. He doesn't have a 28-inch waist. I know that. If I had to guess, 34, 36.
You're right.
36.
36.
Yeah.
He's got
I don't know.
youth. He's got youth.
But
on
here's
his
the thing,
side,
though. I wasn't an extra in the movie Heavyweights. So
There you go.
that
Good.
You're all good.
Right. Jimmy says Jimmy's a tall, strong, well-built, handsome man. And then there's Dave.
yes.
Let's talk about Dave for just a second.
Well, it made me feel good when I went out to breakfast with Brian Kopp's father, who is 82, and he looked at me and he goes, "Man, your hair is really white."
Right.
That made me feel pretty good. 82-year-old man telling me my hair's white.
I heard that was
well, you're a kid to him. I mean, he's watched you growing up when you were a little kid.
I was the ring bearer in his wedding.
Yeah, see?
And Brian's mom was the flower girl in my mother's wedding.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know
Brian was in my wedding. And then I became partners with Brian. And at one time, Brian and Julie worked for me. And now I work for them. Okay.
They
gave me a very nice pad. They gave me a nice white pad today, and they let me use purple crayons today, Ron. I just want you to know.
Well, that's beautiful. When you were out to breakfast, did he not? I heard from somebody at a nearby table that what really upset you is when he said, "Pass the ketchup, fatso." Did that happen at all? I'm just asking.
I don't know if the word fatso is used, but someone did ask me to pass the ketchup. That.
Okay, I was just.
Do we have any more calls, Ron?
I want Jimmy to know I did that for him. Okay, Jim.
Okay,
Just so
I
you know,
appreciate
I'm
it,
trying
Ron.
Okay.
Thanks. You're on the air. Hello.
Sir, sorry about earlier. Had some bad service. Had a question on inheritance.
All right. What is your question?
My
Good.
grandfather passed away.
Your
and
grandfather?
3 people. My grandfather.
Okay.
And uncle is doing the stuff, the probate and all that.
Is the uncle the executor?
Oh, listen to Ron.
Yes.
Throwing
Okay.
around
Well, I'm just
words.
trying to get it clarified.
All right, go ahead.
Well, there were no beneficiaries, but there was a will.
How can you have a will without beneficiary? You can't have a will without beneficiary.
No, it could have left it to charity.
Well, the charity's the beneficiary.
Yeah.
So
But
that
I think what he's implying is there were no relatives as beneficiaries,
were there any named individuals that stood to
organizations
inherit?
or anything
on the will.
Yeah, no, there wasn't any individual names. No.
What did it say?
My question about it.
No, caller, you didn't finish what I asked you.
Did it say that the inheritance went along bloodlines or the lines of sanguinity? Was there any reference to bloodlines?
Did he leave it to charity?
He didn't.
Well, who did he leave his money to?
supposedly he left it to his son. Also put names on it as son, his daughter, and then me, grandchild. But there's 2 other grandchilds. Did he get anything?
Did he mention the other 2?
Supposedly?
No, I mean,
no, he didn't. Not in the will.
Okay, then no. Then you and the 2 other children inherit everything.
And quite frankly, when somebody passes, the bloodlines would have the spouse first, the surviving spouse. The children, his children would be next to collect before the grandchildren.
Was your grandfather still married?
His wife had passed away.
Okay. So if he died intestate, and what that means is if he died without a will, it would go to his children, and if his children had predeceased him, then to his grandchildren.
Correct.
Now, do you have?
But what I'm
go ahead.
He said he had a will. My uncle said he had a will.
Have you
asking because he's going through the probate of it.
All right.
Because he had to list all the heirs.
Okay, right. He had to list all the next of kin.
I was just wondering, are all the heirs, even if the heirs aren't receiving anything, will the heirs get notified if someone else is receiving it?
Yes.
Yes, if you have to probate it, you have to invite
It's called-
everybody that has a potential claim to the party.
It's called due process. Everyone
Even
has
though
to
they're
have
not getting
due
anything.
process. They have to know that a relative died and they're not getting anything. And the will would be filed
Okay,
with
but
the
will they-
court. And you can go down and look at the will and you can read the will.
If it's filed with the court, though, Dave,
It
right?
has
doesn't
to be if they opened up an estate.
Okay.
And then will they be notified what the other people would be receiving?
Well,
or would that
not
be
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
people receiving
Not necessarily, but they could go look at the court file. Why? Are you going to have some cousins that are going to be upset with you?
Possibly. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to get it all figured out.
Well, here's
I
the.
mean, in all reality, Mark, it's the guy who died. It's his will.
I was just
It's
going to
his
say that,
wishes.
Ron. The caller, it's you did nothing. The person that left the will, that was their last wish. That was their intention. That was what they wanted to happen. So, I would say I'm going to respect my grandfather because that's what he wanted to do. And let your cousins.
Let me ask you a little bit about the family. So your grandfather had how many children?
Had 3 children.
How many?
Which one has passed away.
3. Okay.
Which one has passed away? So now he has 2 right now.
Okay. Now, in the original will, did he leave it to the 3 grandchildren, to the 3 children, or just the 2 children?
Well, let me ask you a question
Wait,
real quick. The one that passed away, was that your father or your parent?
Yeah, the one that passed away was my
Okay,
father.
so that's the reason it is.
That's the
You're
reason.
stepping in the shoes of your parent
Right.
who would stand to gain from the will. Understand.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 1 half sister and 1 full blood sister.
Full blood.
Well, no.
If it
Is the half sister, is she from the bloodlines of your deceased grandfather?
depends how it's written, I guess.
Yeah. How's your half sister related to you?
Through your mom or your dad?
She is my father.
Okay, that she might have. So I think you and your brother and your half sister are inheriting your father's share. That's what I think's happening there.
Because the way I was told from my uncle that it was going to him, sister, and then me. It was written on the will that way.
Well, go down and read the will. I'm not so sure that might be the case.
And your siblings could challenge that will.
Yeah.
They could challenge it. So
Isn't there an attorney involved in this, caller?
Thinking so. I'm not totally in it. I'm just trying to get prepped for something that may not happen or may happen. And
Well, go down to the court and ask to read the will.
Yeah, or when they call you in, there's going to be an attorney. Whatever
I
David
think
and
what
I
happened is
probated.
your grandfather died, left it to his 3 children. One of
One
the
is
children
deceased.
predeceased him. So you
step into the shoes.
Per capita, not per stirpes.
Yes.
Meaning you and your brother and your half so you and your brother, so it would be a third, but the sister doesn't get a full third. She'd get a half of a third. So she'd get a sixth, and then you and your other brother would get the remainder.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
She would get half of a third.
No, you're right.
And I would just go to the hearing.
Wait, you want to say that way? Hold a second, Ron. What did you say, Frank?
I don't know. Did I say something?
Yeah, you said I was right. Go ahead. Just repeat it a little louder.
You're right.
I was right. Go ahead.
I would go to the hearing and find out. Well, Dave gave you good advice. Go to the probate court with the case number. Ask to see the will or the file. Maybe that will answer some questions for you.
Or call the lawyer.
Yeah, call the lawyer that's representing the estate, or you show up at the hearing. If you're named and your sibling and your half sibling are not, they could challenge.
No, they'd have to be named. They're next of kin.
Well, I'm saying if they're not, well, he's saying they're not named. He said his uncle said it's him, his sister, and he.
There's a difference between being named in the will and being in a next of kin form to be filed with the probate court. Those are two separate concepts.
Was there any language in there about disinheriting your half sibling and your sibling?
He doesn't.
What? There was just only, like I said, us three inheritors of life insurance and.
You don't know that though. You haven't read the will, right? So the best thing to do is go take a look at the will.
Yeah.
And then you can at least be more educated and have probably more efficient questions for an attorney at that point.
Okay.
Right. They're trying to answer your question, but this is so confusing to listening to it, with all due respect, and your phone breaks up, caller. I mean, it's just, what's the will say is they're asking you, and you don't know because you haven't read it. So I can't go on here. You're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Good. Go ahead.
I got a problem with the oil company.
Okay.
Oil company.
Yeah, they needed to take part of my land to increase the size of the road. And the way it was explained to me is that they would pay me, then the county would pay me $1 who actually would inherit the road work then. And then
wait.
Anyway, I had a lawyer make a payment or make a paper that said I kept the mineral rights under that third of an acre, and they have not paid me one time. The oil company sees it as I do not own that piece of land anymore, even today I'm still paying taxes on that piece of land because I was never paid by the county yet. And this is 8 months down the line.
Something doesn't sound right with this
I have
case.
not been paid for that third of an acre.
Did the county take your property by eminent domain?
Yes or no?
No, they did not.
How did they take it then?
No, he sold it to the oil company.
It was supposed to be through an agreement through the oil company.
Well, how could you sell it to the oil company and retain the oil rights? What are they buying? Unless they want to put a tower or something.
It could be an easement.
You can retain the mineral rights.
Land to increase the size of the road.
Right.
And you retain the mineral rights.
I retain the mineral rights.
All right. Well, it depends on what they're getting out of the well, and you're going to have to hire a geologist or something to try to figure out that well and the pockets that are around there and what may or may not have come out of your well.
Yeah, I was just in a case
I
like this.
I already know that because they're paying me for the rest of my land. I had 9.27 acres or 9.25 acres. I'm sorry, and they took a third of an acre from me to increase the size of the road. And there's other stuff in this too. They sent me threatening letters saying they were just going to take that corner and not pay me. This has been all kind of crap through them. I'm not.
People cannot take your property and not pay you, and especially the government.
I understand that. I understand that. But you got to let me just give you a little bit more input on this. They just said since I signed the lease, they feel like they could take, and they actually sent me a letter in writing on this, and I still have it, that they can take that third of an acre without paying me anything. And I said, no, you can't. They said, watch me. I said, I bet you don't.
You're conflating a bunch of issues
that
here.
third of an acre.
You're conflating. He's throwing things around and he's confused. And you had a lawyer with you?
No. I had a lawyer write up the paper.
What paper? A paper for what?
saying that I get to keep the mineral rights under that third of an acre, along with the rest of my mineral rights that I already had signed.
Okay, but what did you sell them then?
When I sold that third of an acre, I did not sell the mineral rights for it.
Well, I
got
caller. I got news for you. If you had a separate agreement and then you deeded it to him, all of those merge into the deed, and the deed controls not some separate written agreement, unless it's in the deed.
And you sold it to them.
Yeah. So if you,
I didn't sell them a deed. I don't know.
Did you have a lease, or did you sell them the property?
All the acres.
Right. There's a big difference.
Big difference. If you leased it to them, you still own the property and have to pay the property taxes. Or did you sell them the property?
Apparently, I did not, because I'm still paying the property tax.
So you leased it.
You leased it to them.
And then the thing with mineral rights is, if they're going to drill, you can have an agreement with them that they pay you a certain amount of money. But if they don't drill, you don't get any money.
So the lease, did you sign a lease?
I did, and I am getting money for the rest of my property right now.
Okay. And did you have a lawyer review that lease?
I did.
Okay. And
so he made the amendment in it that I would still get paid for that third of an acre. I would still get paid for those mineral rights.
And have you contacted this lawyer and told him that you have not gotten any money for any of the minerals that they've taken out?
I did, and this was about 4 months ago, and he sent them a letter. He wrote a letter and sent it in to them, and I have had no response and still have not been paid anything for that third of an acre.
Well, I would work through the lawyer you have. I don't know what's in the agreement and what isn't. I don't even know if they owe you money just because they're using your land, because a lot of these drillers have to put acreages together in order to be able to drill, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're pulling resources from all of those acres. So,
but they are from mine for sure.
A lot of times
100%.
they'll pay you cash up front to do it. And then if they start drilling, they'll pay you a percentage.
Right. Have they been drilling?
Yes, it's drilled. It's done. I'm getting monthly checks from them already, but it's not including that third of an acre.
I don't know what to tell you.
Although I'm still paying property tax on that third of an acre.
Okay, we've settled that issue because you did not sell them the land. That is why you are paying the property tax.
You leased the land to them.
Yes, I understand that. But what you haven't settled is how come they're not paying me for the minerals underneath of that land?
That'd be a great question for your lawyer.
All right.
And I gave it to him.
Well,
all he did was send them a letter, and no one's been back in contact.
Well, then call him.
I did.
Well, then get another lawyer.
I mean, I can't help you. I haven't seen any agreements. The lawyer that you hired is the best one with the most information to assist you. You're calling into a show. I don't have all the documents. You're complaining that you're paying the property tax, which means you didn't sell them the land. You leased them the land, and they only have to pay you according to what's in that lease. Did you have more than one lease on your land, or did you have multiple leases?
I had just the one lease.
Okay. Well, you need to go figure out what it is you think they owe you. Because how do you know they're just paying you for everything else and not this part of it? How do you know that?
Because I did the math on the acreage. It was broken down, that whole unit was broken down into 1,340 acres. And I did the math, and when I did the math, it came out correct. I checked it with several other people, smarter people than me, and they said the same thing. That was, they're underpaying.
All right, so they owe you money. You have to sue them for it, or get your lawyer to sue them for you. Okay? If the lease said, "Hey, look, we're going to drill on your property, and when we drill, we're going to pay you X dollars for every month we're drilling." Okay?
Yes.
All right. I wish you well, caller.
Well, it's drilled. They're going to pay me for every all they took out of it.
We don't have this stuff. If you're not happy with the lawyer that you're dealing with, get another lawyer, because he doesn't seem like
you can't get one that'll take the case for that little bit of money.
Well, how much is a little bit of money?
I'm imagining by now that they're owing me somewhere around $6,000 or $7,000.
Well, you can go take them to small claims court.
Okay.
Small claims limit is 6,000.
That would probably be the best.
Yeah, but every time they don't pay them the 6,000. So
I think it's total 6,000, not monthly 6,000, right, caller?
Yeah, I think at this point it's around $6,000. But here's the thing too: they gave me so much grief that I spent money on a shed to put it on that corner. So when they said they were just going to take it from me, I had to go out and buy a shed and put on that corner after I cleared it to make sure that they wouldn't.
I don't know how to respond.
You've got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, you really need to go talk to your lawyer.
No one can just come and take your property. You could.
And I understood that. And when I talked to my lawyer, when I did the one thing the lawyer told me that finally made sense to me.
What?
When we were trying to figure this whole thing out, he said, "How do you trust your county commissioner?" I said, "Well,
what do the county? Where is this new player coming from?"
Hold up. Let me finish. They said, he said, "You trust your county commissioners?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, they will eventually go eminent domain on that, and you won't get anything for it."
No. A county generally cannot take your land for a private business. There's a lot of litigation on that. It has to be for a public good. It cannot be, oh, this company wants your land for their oil. Here, government, go take it and sell it to us.
Yeah, like
that usually doesn't fly.
If YSU wanted, the city could take the land for the college or whatever. Yes,
but it has to be for a public good, not one private corporation. All right.
Well,
you're conflating a lot of it. I know you're go. That's who I'm suggesting you go see as your lawyer. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Wish you luck. I mean, it's very confusing.
I am exhausted after that call. I don't know about you guys.
I thought the probate one did you in.
I mean, I must say today's questions have been unique because they're so complex and
they're really not
bizarre.
They're really not.
Yeah, so much stuff was left out or information was left out.
Well, that's the problem with the call-in show. We don't get all the information. We don't have all the documents. But what I want to tell people is when you sign a contract, that is a legal document. You should read it. I had a client in my office the other day. And I go, well, you signed this contract. He goes, well, I didn't read it. Am I bound by it? I go, yes. You
need to read.
You don't just sign it's amazing how many people sign things and then like 2 weeks later they go, I want out of it. I go, well, it's a legal document. Now you could breach a contract, but you're going to get sued.
It's just I don't know what to say. All right, let me see. You're on the air.
Yes. Hey guys.
Quick question.
I'm a little exhausted after that too. Back in May, we had an incident. I'm calling from Girard. Horrible incident, but it turned out good.
I know what incident you're talking about too. Jimmy's going to take this one.
Fell in a pond.
Yes.
What happened?
So okay. With that being said, I'm a homeowner. I built a water feature that's 27 years old. I got thousands of dollars in this thing, and I'm a few streets away here. I want to keep mine. Well, the word is council's trying to meet, and take out anything in the front yard. They're trying to tighten up the loopholes and update
Jimmy,
the zoning.
It's an in-ground thing they're trying to do, right? Not above ground. Is yours in-ground or above ground?
So mine is in-ground. It's about 18 inches deep. It's a permanent structure attached to my driveway.
He might be grandfathered
the porch,
in, though.
and my walk.
That's what I'm going towards.
And I'm hoping there's some kind of grandfathered exemption here.
There has to be.
I showed 27 years of good faith here.
Now listen to what they're saying. We're running out of time.
They're not going to retroactively apply it, but also I don't think legally. And I would secure it.
Yeah.
To prevent that tragedy.
Listen to me. That's an attractive nuisance. So you want to. The law, if a child comes over and drowns, there's potential liability for you. You have to secure that because that's what they call in the law an attractive nuisance. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, we have any more time? Or tomorrow morning, Brian's doing WFMJ today. He's going to talk about wrongful death cases and what are they. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States.